The fourth trend that we're going to look at is that social platforms will be more frequently used for support. And this is this CX abbreviation, which I've seen come to prominence over the last number of years, and that's customer experience. And we'll see more and more customers use social platforms for customer support in the sales process, in the pre-sales process, in the after-sales process, and in the customer service and service-related issues. And I know myself, I found myself reaching out to businesses on their social platforms instead of maybe going down the traditional routes of live chat, of calling them, of sending them emails. I think there's always a really impersonal approach to a contact form. You don't know if they've received it and so on. So we'll see customers using social platforms for more service and sales related issues. So we see 75% of consumers say that the pandemic alone has driven long-term changes in their behaviors and preferences, one of which is a bigger focus on urgency. Time is more precious and nobody wants to waste it. And that's the element of the contact form on somebody's website. You don't know when they'll reply. Certainly, I wouldn't expect a reply in a contact form within 24 hours, but I would expect a reply on social media a lot quicker than 24 hours. And some statistics to back that up. Amplify did a study, and they've seen that 2 out of 3 customers that they surveyed prefer to use social media during the buying process to ask questions about products, ask questions about services, use social media to make purchases, and then also seek post-purchase customer support. And I did that recently. I bought a Netgear switch for my home. It wasn't working. I reached out to the customer service department on Twitter, and it was resolved within 45 minutes. Whereas if I had went down and raised a ticket, and it may not have been resolved like that. So this is going to creep in more and more. And if you think your business isn't in this, privy to this, or your business won't, this won't happen for your business, I would just take a step back and seriously consider it. And we also found that in this Amplify study that of everyone surveyed, 52% expect brands to respond to customer service inquiries via digital channels within an hour. So that's the expectation of over half of consumers. And if that's the expectation, now I know this was a sample and so on, but that is a significantly high percentage of people looking a response to customer service inquiries via digital channels within an hour. So, brands are going to have to prioritize customer experience. They're going to have to provide support and information and solutions as fast as they possibly can. And social media really can enable this. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all have messaging options. They all have, posting options and so on. And we've also seen that, slow response time to customer inquiries is one of the leading contributors to a negative customer experience. So we'll see in 2023 more brands sort of, setting up dedicated customer support tools on social media, which will enable hopefully that faster and more efficient response. We see there's also brands like Orbit Baby, which is an American brand who use their Facebook and Instagram for implementing live streaming into their social media care strategy. Customers can connect directly with a sales representative via Instagram or via Facebook, resulting in an immediate and convenient sort of sales service. So you log on to Facebook, they have on Facebook their button, which will launch a video call with one of their sales representatives. Now, if somebody isn't available, and they can't always be available, but if somebody isn't available, you can usually book one within 30 minutes. they will do a full demo on a smartphone of a particular product. So in this instance, they supply prams and other baby equipment. The video is one way, so they can't see you. All you have to do is turn on your mic to ask questions, and you'll receive a personal product demo, answer any questions that you have with one of their friendly product specialists. We've also seen this in the car industry, maybe not in the live setting, whereby some of the large garages are doing this, but in a recorded format. I know I went to look at a car there recently, and I took it for a test drive or whatever, and then they followed up with a video, which was a complete rundown of the car, looking at it in more detail, looking at all the cons and everything that was associated with the car. So that's a really personalized customer service aspect of it, and one that they're fueling through social media. So that's potentially something that can be very, very, especially with the pandemic. The pandemic has, I guess, I never thought I'd buy a sofa online before, but during the pandemic I did. So I've never sat on it. I work a lot with a couple of furniture retailers, and the amount of people that have said that to them, and also purchased beds and all sorts of things without ever having sat on them, has increased dramatically. So with that will to purchase items that you may not have ever purchased before, employing this sort of feature here and fueling it through social media could be really, really make a lot of difference in the number of sales that you get.